I am all for green energy, but I cannot support irresponsible increasing utility prices for our constituents when there is more reasonable path available to achieve the same goals. This amendment simply restores the governor's original proposal and aligns the Renewable Energy Standard with the Act on Climate 2050 timeline in a more sustainable manner. It preserves our commitment to decarbonization, provides a more realistic implementation schedule, and protects our constituents from unnecessary rising costs aligned with the Renewable Energy Standard with neighboring states like Mass and Connecticut, and it makes more sense. I appreciate the inclusion of both hydro and nuclear as eligible renewable energy resources. I think it's a step in the right direction. However, we all know that merely recognizing those resources is simply not enough. We are nowhere near maximizing the procurement of these resources that would bring meaningful savings to our energy prices as drafted. This budget continues to knowingly lock Rhode Island into an accelerated renewable energy standard timeline that will drive costs onto families and businesses without meaningfully changing the regional energy market in which we participate. We do not operate in isolation. Rhode Island accounts for only a small share of New England's overall electricity demand. It's about 6 to 7%. No matter how aggressive we are, moving faster, narrowing eligibility will not force the region to decarbonize faster. It just required our constituents to pay a more premium for renewable energies while receiving the same electricity from the same regional market. When the governor submitted his budget, his proposed aligning the Renewable Energy Standard with the timeline already established on the Act on Climate, under testimony provided to Finance Committee, we heard that maintaining the current 233 target is projected to cost the taxpayers $1 billion over the next 5 years. By aligning the Renewable Energy Standard with the Act on Climate, a 2050 target, those projected costs could be reduced by approximately $572 million, relieving Rhode Island taxpayers of more than 50% of the burden. I'm sure you all are fielding calls from your constituents on their electric bills. And that's why the governor moved to do that. We haven't met some of our goals now. We're far behind in the transportation industry. It's clear we're not going to meet it. It's enacted by law, so we have to change it by law, and that's what this amendment does. That's not a small difference. This is more than $500 million of that $572 million that would remain in the pockets of Rhode Island families, seniors, and small businesses. And this body is going to have to answer to that as those rates climb. Do you have the courage? We're going to find out. We continue to hear overwhelmingly concerns from constituents about the affordability of electricity. We are saying that we need a millionaire's tax because the state has become so unaffordable, yet we simultaneously advance policies that will place additional undue pressure on Rhode Islanders. I struggle with that irony. Even under the delayed target date, Rhode Island would remain the most aggressive in the region, aligning with the Renewable Energy Standard with the Act on Climate. It's not a retreat from our intermediate and long-term environmental commitments. It is recognition that the climate goals and affordability need to work together. We did the same thing with the biodiesels on the heating oil. We are B20 when Massachusetts is at B50. It makes no sense, but that's an argument for a different day, maybe next year. Let's slow roll to help our constituents. For these reasons, I respectfully ask my colleagues to support this amendment, at least more than 4, please.